I'm Gary Earl. Welcome to Music City Online. Our guest tonight is Aaron Friend. He's a licensing executive at BMI and an up-and-coming radio-ready alternative writer-artist as well. His background includes engineering and promoting live shows at places like world-famous Exit Inn here in Nashville, Rocketown. He also holds the distinction of being the one dude who always has a better Halloween costume than mine. So we'll show you some music industry party pics later too that you might find fun. In the meantime, if you have any questions for Aaron or myself, if you will, you can tweet us at Gary Earl Prod, P-R-O-D, or email at GaryEarlProductions@gmail.com. And let's go ahead and get started. Oh, you know what? Let's just show some photos since we talked about Halloween.
Yeah, sure.
So,
just coming off of October 31st as it is.
Yeah, look at this handsome Justin Timberlake guy over here. Here he was a year ago.
He was a little bit skinnier.
Very good skeleton. And that, by the way, is his charming wife. Whoops, well, there we went. His charming wife, Leah. You just got married not that long ago, didn't you?
Actually, we are about to get married.
Oh, not yet?
Yeah, so we're engaged. We're making it a little bit longer of an engagement, so we're going to get married in Key West next year.
Sweet. And here he is. This year?
That was this year.
This here is the Joker from Batman. This is me a year ago as Blue Man Group. Well, Blue Man from Blue Man Group. This year as Heisenberg from Breaking Bad. Thank you. And here's some local parties, Solid and WMDA. And that's Karen Waltrip there. She's a new Sony artist. She was just over here a couple of weeks ago singing. And Mario and Luigi, of course, singing karaoke at the WMBA party, Women in Music Business. My favorite costumes of the night, the Minions from Despicable Me, helping out Liz Rogers. Now Liz, the girl there without the Minion costume, pitches film into TV. She's a music super here locally, so good parties, a lot of fun. So, Aaron, we won't start off with questions. I'll start off by letting you talk about some things that you'd like to talk about. For example, I know that you've been working a lot with BMI Live, right? I'd like to explain that. What's going on?
Well, BMI has created a program. We had its year anniversary this year, so it's been around for about 2 years now. And what we're really trying to focus on is we're trying to get local artists and local performers performance royalties for performing at local bars, restaurants, and other establishments. So we've really, opened it up. There's an app, BMI Live. You can go ahead and download at any point in time if you're on the road, touring, or if you're going to different establishments. Get on your MacBook or your whatever laptop you prefer, and you can log your performances. And it has a little app where you create set lists, so different set lists for different shows. You go on and you put those together. And for a facility under 200 occupancy, which is most of those local shows that you play, you look at anywhere from $10 to $20 for a royalty check for that one performance. And you understand, be patient with the process. It's not perfect yet, so we do have delays in getting royalties out sometimes, especially with venues that may not carry a license at that point. But also, it's really great. I mean, it opens up an opportunity to have a conversation with businesses about licensing, about helping support the local songwriters and getting them the royalties that they deserve. And I don't think a lot of local songwriters know about this yet, so I'm glad to share it. Yeah, I'm really glad.
Yeah, now, if you were in a band that played, one night a week even, that would really add up.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the
Yeah.
fee is for the establishment and how we
Mhm.
break it down on how many performances they have a year. So, I mean, I'm not a mathematician by any means, and I'm not in accounting, so I don't know how that breaks down. I know on my royalty check, it ends up being anywhere from $10 to $20. So, if you're playing consistently 4 times a month, and you look at 48 performances a year, and you break that down, you're looking about $400 to $500 a year. Goes to putting gas in the tank or helping you record that next EP.
Exactly. That's great. I didn't even know about it. That's terrific. So there's some other things that you cover. You cover cue sheets, royalty, analyzing, licensing opportunities. You'd mentioned blogs and forums.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, as an artist as well and performer, I like to read up on other things that I'm not dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, obviously we deal with a lot in licensing department, thousands of phone calls a week, thousands of different songwriters a week that we're transferring to other departments and trying to navigate through. But I try to keep up with royaltyexchange.com. They're great. It's actually a website where, if you have something, ownership in a song or production credit in a song, you can actually put it on auction and you can get advances on that over time. I like to follow up on Royalty Insider. They're another one that kind of go over like what's fluctuating in the market, what's going on right now with royalties. Also musicconfidential.biz. I don't know if you get any of the newsletters that they do, but they kind of keep on the up and up of what's going on in the legal world. And also who's getting signed now, what are you guys doing, So those are some of the blogs and stuff that I keep up with. Also on LinkedIn, if you're familiar, if you're on there, get on there because LinkedIn is great for professionals. It's not like Facebook. You're not going to get a bunch of spam. You're not going to get a bunch of crazy alerts. And one in particular that I look at a lot is opportunities for musicians. They have a lot of postings for different songs that are needed for commercials, or they might be needed for an independent film in your area, or they're shooting a music video. There's all kinds of opportunities that they post there. And same thing with, there's one, it's music for TV, movies, and commercials. So another great forum that has a lot of people involved on it that post what their needs are, what they're looking for. And I mean, if you're not on there, 3 days out of the week or 4 days out of the week, you might miss an opportunity that you had just by emailing somebody or shooting them over your information on a song.
I'm actually a little surprised because I've been in the business for like so long, and like you're coming up with all kinds of stuff tonight I never even heard of. I had no idea. That's kind of embarrassing, actually. I wasn't even aware of that at all. Wow. Geez. So you want to talk for a moment about how about cue sheets? Do you want to talk about them for just a minute or not, or would you rather not get into that?
I'd rather not get into semantics.
Okay.
The way they come in, we get billions. Billions, not millions, billions of different things on Excel sheets. And that's not my area of expertise by any means. There's a whole department that does royalty analytics and things like that. So.
Yeah. Well, I often, when I'm speaking to groups, they often ask about, how you get paid on TV and film.
Yeah.
Because with songs that are on the radio, you register them or whatever. And I try and explain about cue sheets and that, that's done by the production company. You just need to make sure that you're on the cue sheet.
And you have to make sure that they fill it out correctly. Like there's certain ways to fill it out. If it just is the title of the song, you might not get paid for it. And you might have to follow up with your publishing company, or you follow up with whoever is representing you at the time to make sure that you are getting the royalties. Sometimes that gets missed. And it's just a simple fix is, our person has to do a query for it. And once they find where it was missing, they might be able to finish out the information. Whoever actually wrote that up and missed that point, they'll have them fix that. And you'll see that statement on your next credit or your next quarter, actually. So, we have a whole quarter period where everything gets to us. So the quarter before is what we'd be paying out for that quarter. Right. But if there was a quarter missed, then you won't see that quarter for another period. So, there's a lot of delays, and especially with overseas.
Right.
Europe, Japan, Thailand, all those areas, it's even longer of a period of time if you miss something. So you might have 12 months of lag time in between something getting aired to when you get paid.
Yeah, I've had even longer than that, with depending on like in Asia, some
Yeah.
places like that. Uh, I remember first time I had a movie play in China, I thought, oh, this is wonderful. They got like, 1 billion people, and I got like 1 penny. So I realized that China is not always at the forefront of copyright enforcement.
Well,
Sort of,
they're getting there.
Yeah, they're getting there. So yeah,
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, I got 1 penny, and it was a featured performance even. So I hate to think what anybody with background music got on that.
Yeah. So what else you got for me, Gary?
Yeah, and by the way, this is a little off topic, but this is back when they actually sent you a check. Now that it has to be a certain amount before they send out a check, and
Yeah.
I actually got a check for 1 penny.
I would have framed that one, Gary.
I should have. It was. I showed it to friends and they laughed, but I was in LA at the time and I was hungry, so I had to cash it. So okay, sorry. It wasn't quite that bad, but anyway. Okay, so okay, here's a question that came in not long ago. And this is from @Sans Music. She asked, does BMI actually help their writers and artists? Does it call them back, advise them on careers, etc.? And that's a tough question.
Well, I mean, it is a question that comes up a lot. BMI represents 600,000 songwriters currently. Our repertoire is growing every day. We have artists that are writing music. We have performers and writers that we deal with. And, it is a not-for-profit making organization. It's hard for us to get back to everybody in a day. So we do drop calls. Publishing companies even drop calls. But my advice for someone that's trying to get in touch with the writer rep and trying to reach out, try to build a relationship via email and see, be persistent. I mean, you can imagine with 600,000 people, how many emails, 10 or 12 writer reps in Nashville get a day. So, I mean, they're busy. They follow up on things in a timely fashion as they can. Unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower all the time to assist with that. But if you really do have something that's tentative, feel free to contact us at any time. I mean, even the toll-free number, I get phone calls in my department where I try to help people out being an artist and try to walk them through certain things with registering songs, registering for BMI Live. If it's something as simple as that, those are questions that can be easily answered. But, getting passwords and things like that, we're getting locked out. It's
those
something
are tough.
Yeah, those are tough things to get to, but I mean, hopefully the computer, with everything going automated, we've been changing our process online. We have a new web designer and everything that came in and redid the website, so it looks great. We're starting to get along a little bit better and helping to troubleshoot that automatically. So we're trying to go a little bit more through automatic stages on things. So especially with registering, the BMI Live app is going to be updated soon as well, so that should be pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, just hang in there, be persistent, and keep in touch with us.
and also, just a reminder, they do have other offices besides Nashville.
Yeah, we do. We have an Atlanta office. We have a New York office. We have an office in LA. There's one in Nashville, and there's one in Miami and London. Mm-hmm. So, if you're closer to any of those offices, feel free to drop by, say hello to them, talk to them. If you can build a relationship with them, or just grab a bit of their time, I'm sure that they'll recognize you again and they can get back to you a lot quicker.
And I'd also like to point out that what you're saying is true literally everywhere in the industry, publishers and our departments, all of the above. It's really important to have a thick skin and to be persistent in a polite way, because if you have the opportunity, on a visit to any of those cities to make contact, make sure you do it. If you know someone who is a writer there already, ask for a referral, perhaps, what rep do you use? Who do you like? Can you drop my name as a referral and try and open a door? I mean, it's very important to be persistent because you never know when the door is going to open. I had a friend this is a good example. I had a friend, a signed staff writer, and even had a couple of fairly known cuts that made it on the radio. And he pitched a song that he thought would be perfect to a specific artist. And maybe I shouldn't name the artist to the song, but It became a very, very well-known song and a big #1 hit. But he pitched it 5 albums in a row.
Wow.
5 years in a row. And, normally most writers wouldn't do that. They'd pitch the song, if it got turned down, they'd send a different song next year. He went in every single year with the same song, different A&R person, same A&R person, whatever. Got rejected 4 times. The 5th time, he got a phone call from the artist. It said, "This song's fantastic. I'm looking at the copyright date. I wish you would have sent this to me sooner." I said, I did. Like 5 years,
Yeah, and
You never know.
I even have trouble getting in touch with people sometimes in writer-publisher. Being in the licensing department, I try to speak with them on a frequent basis, especially
Right.
since I'm going to be dropping my EP soon, and I've finally finished my first solo debut. So, I've, gotten people in touch that were from ASCAP with people down in BMI that wanted to transfer their copyrights over and their registered works over. So,
Yeah.
if I'm having trouble getting in touch with them, I can't imagine where you guys are at. So, try to definitely find an in. If you can find somebody that has a writer rep that they've been in touch with via email or via phone, has a direct line to them, try to reach out to them that way. That would be a quicker way of getting in touch with someone for sure.
And it also doesn't hurt to maybe be a little creative sometimes. I don't want to open the wrong door here, but a good example is, and I have been this way in pursuing music supervisors myself and A&R people, but this is a really good example of a good way to open a door. Arista Records, many years ago, got a little package in the mail, and I think it was Tim Dubois was the head of it then. And they took the package and they said, "Tim, I think you ought to see this." And somebody had sent a little toy tractor and one line on a piece of paper that said, "The tractors are coming." 3-4 days later, another package arrived. Another little toy tractor with a map highlighted from, Oklahoma to Nashville, and a little X halfway, and it said, "The tractors are coming." This went on for like 2 weeks, and he got like a half a dozen toy tractors in the mail, each time a little bigger one and a different one. And so finally, they got the lady at the front desk got a phone call one day, and it said, "Hey, we're here. We're staying over at the, Holiday Inn, and we're the tractors, Oklahoma City, and, will somebody see us?" Well, not only did somebody saw him, but Tim Dubois, the head of the record label, saw him because,
Wow.
they did something creative that piqued his interest. He was like, "You know what? I want to meet these people. Who are these people?" And, the rest is a history. So it never hurts to be, yeah. My first trip to LA, I had a bad publishers meeting in the morning with a well-known publisher. And in all due honesty, I was a farm kid that just fell off the turnip truck, and he probably realized that. So he put my tape on and put his feet up on the desk, was smoking a big cigar, and the tape started playing at 15 IPS. I had recorded it at 7.5 IPS. So it was going ring, ding, 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 ding. This goes on for 30 seconds. I finally speak up and say, "Excuse me, it's playing too fast." And he goes, "Yep, I know. Get through them faster that way." So at this point, it's about 10 o'clock, and I think, okay, I'm not messing with stupid publishing companies. I'm going to go straight to the biggest star in the world. It was the middle 80s. Biggest star in the world was Michael Jackson. So, and I knew it was like 4 or 5 blocks away was, the Jacksons had the top floor of this bank building, one floor, I think 28th floor above Motown, And so I went down there, and of course I do all the sorts of dumb things like I'm pressing the 28th floor button on the elevator, not realizing you have to have a card to get in there. I'm thinking I can just walk right into the Jacksons. Well, I spent an entire 8-hour day trying to get in there. At one point, I even went out on the fire escape and was trapped out there because you couldn't get back in the building without setting off the fire alarm to the whole building. So I went all the way in the basement. I went all the way up on the roof, and I was leaning over the roof, yelling at people on the street, you know, trying to get help to get, you know. Finally, a couple of banging on a door, and a couple of janitors let me back in the building. So I did get into Michael Jackson that day, and I pitched a song face to face to Michael Jackson. And he even invited me to eat with him. I found a food delivery guy, and I was begging for him to sell me some food. And he said, no, I got a very important delivery. This is about 5 or 6 at night, you know. And he goes, this is for the Jacksons. And I told my story, and he's like, oh, he whips out a red and white paper hat, you know, and I put it on, and I go in with him to deliver food to the Jacksons. And he actually invited us to have a piece of chicken with him and put on the music and listen. Terribly inappropriate pitch. It was more Blue Roll song for like an old Motown low voice guy, you know. But you know what? I know I didn't know anything. But the point is, you know, be persistent and be creative. And nothing came from it except I did get dinner. but my point is, be creative and be persistent, and you know, and you'll get through, you know, eventually. So, okay, let's talk about your music for a minute here too. Okay, so as I've got, oh, I need to get the phone from you, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Chris is our associate producer over here helping us out tonight. And by the way, remember, you can email or tweet in questions for Aaron, anything you want to ask him at all. In the meantime, I'm going to show you some of Aaron's music here. And let's see.
Toxic to me, and I'm face to face with you, and I'm not back in town, and you try to change me, but it brings me down. And now what's the problem? You got a problem with the person that I am, yeah.
Okay. All right. We back on live? Okay. Here we go. You care to tell us anything about your EP, your music?
Yeah, I think that was the clip. That was the face-to-face clip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of one of the more ballady songs that we put together. And, you know, what I'm doing with my music, I haven't really released it yet. I'm going to be doing that shortly. I mean, obviously, as an independent artist, doing it myself, going through studios and everything, you know, it's taken a lot more time, but it's turned out to be, I think, is a pretty great project for me. It was a learning experience, and you know, I'm going to go ahead and probably distribute it through Ditto Music. I have a friend, Andy Tomlinson, that's over at Ditto Music. He does a lot of stuff with digital distribution, helps with promotions over there. They do a lot of stuff online, not just only digital distribution, but they also help with marketing and promotions for new artists. And, you know, getting people plugged to the right audience. So if you need help with your fan base or your Facebook site or managing your website, they're really good with that kind of stuff. And Andy Tomlinson's a great guy. He's over there. You know, I don't think he's ever missed one of my calls, which is awesome. You know, but I know that they're busy.
What their website is, by any chance?
Yeah, it's dittomusic.com, and that's ditto, DITTO music.com.
Terrific.
They also have TuneCore's out there. TuneCore does stuff with publishing as well, and they also try to hook other songwriters up with publishing companies and other people that are looking for music or stuff for independent films or television. You know, if you're just doing cues as well or little bits in between, they do a lot of stuff with that. And I've heard, you know, a lot of crazy stuff like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, for example, those 4 notes, the da-da-da, or 3 notes.
Yeah.
You know, that guy got paid thousands of dollars for that. Thousands. So, you know, there's no clip too short to pitch, which I think is insane. But going back, again, the stuff that I follow, just kind of keep up with what's going on. I go to musicconfidential.biz. They always have an article every week going on about what's going on in the industry, whether it be what's going on with Spotify and Taylor Swift, or whether it be what's going on with the PROs and Pandora. There's always great information there. She's an ex-attorney, or probably still is an attorney, but she does a lot of writing now and meets with a lot of high-up executives. So it's great information. RoyaltyInsider.com. I like to check out things on their website and see what's going on with rates and see what's going on with, what publisher's doing what at what time, see who's looking for what songs at what time. And then also there's this crazy website that I found recently. It's called royaltyexchange.com. And if you go on there, you can kind of look through and see songs that are actually for auction. Like they're literally auctioning off their public performance rights and producers credits and things like that to songs. There was cues from Friends on there the other day. Three Doors Down's producer was selling his rights. And I mean, some of them, I mean, you'll see them going for, you know, a couple $1,000s, but then you'll go and you'll look at a big artist and $300,000, $250,000 for these rights. And it's absolutely insane. I haven't bought anything, obviously, but I just thought that it was kind of good information to see and see what's going on in the industry, how bands are getting advances nowadays.
So you like haven't bought the Beatles catalog or anything like that?
Paul McCartney, I think, just bought it back. So, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't want to get into a bidding war with him or anything. Those nonprofit dollars.
I don't know if I ever told you, but I had a phone conversation with Paul McCartney once.
Did you? Do you have it recorded?
I really did. Well,
thought you were going to your phone there.
No, it's actually a bizarre story. I was pitching for James Patrick Dunn, who's producer on Johnny Loves Chachi and co-producer on Happy Days. And I was pitching his own personal artist material to do soap operas, getting cuts in soap operas with him. And we shared an office with Chevy Chase in Pacific Palisades. Chevy's Rolodex was amazing. It had like everybody in there. Like, you know, all the Rolling Stones, all the Beatles, Queen of England, every act, Marlon Brando. I mean, you know, every actor, every person in the entertainment industry you could possibly want, you know. So one evening we were working late and traffic was bad, and you know, Chevy or his assistant, they were both gone, and we wandered over and we're flipping through his Rolodex, and by the way, Chevy, in case you're watching, we never made a copy of your Rolodex. Should have, but we didn't. So and
Xerox was expensive actually.
Yeah,
really expensive.
And so we thought, is there anybody you'd like to, like, you know, phone? And it's like Paul McCartney. Not realizing, of course, that it was like 2 or 3 in the morning in, you know, England where he was living. So phone, and a very sleepy Paul McCartney answers the phone like, "Hello, love." Realizing that we just, you know, woke him up on a private line. I said, "Oh, sorry, wrong number." And the other guy in the office with me then bursts out, "Yeah, Paul, wrong number." So fortunately, there was no caller ID then. So. And he was very nice. He said, "All right then, good night." Yeah.
Poor Paul.
That was my
I feel bad for him.
My brush with fame with Paul. Yes. So, okay, let's. I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
That I like to ask people. And by the way, Chris, let us know if any other questions come in. We go through all of the websites again that they wanted us to. Okay, cool. So someone had asked us to hit the websites again. So my first question is, if we ran into you at a party or a music industry function, what one question would you not want to be asked? Maybe it's something that you get asked too much, something that would annoy you. What would it be?
Is Taylor Swift BMI? That's the one question that always gets me. I mean, of course we have Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
She's prominent in the office. She comes by a lot. And
really?
She's great. Real nice lady.
Wow.
So. But
well, I'm glad you actually answered, because I was sitting here thinking, okay, I'm not supposed to ask him this. I'm dying to know now. So, okay.
Yeah, Jody Williams is her rep downstairs at BMI, and they've had a really close relationship, and we've been really lucky to have her. And especially with everything going on with Spotify now, you know, it's good press. And, you know, I hope that it does more in the industry to hopefully hone in on a rate that's a little bit better for artists. So, you know, we can kind of get back to a way of, you know, getting some royalties that are well-deserved. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, the costs that go into production and mastering and distribution.
Yes.
It's not free. And I think it'd be great to get a little bit more money out there to the artists that deserve it.
Yeah. Very good. Second question. Tell us something that we don't know. This can be about you or just anything that we don't know.
I was abducted by aliens. Don't tell me. No, not really. But
I don't know if you heard that or not. He said he was raised by aliens.
Just abducted, not raised.
Oh, abducted. Okay.
They put me back once they found out how crazy I was.
So I was going to say that's and expecting them back to pick you up again sometime.
I hope so.
Yeah. I actually, something similar happened to me when I was quite young. My brother used to, when I would do annoying, embarrassing things to me, used to say, you know, you're not really part of this family. You're dropped off by aliens, and someday they're probably going to come back and get you. And
yeah, my mom's still waiting for the real me to come back. That's crazy.
The real mom. That's great. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. Anything else you want to say?
Anybody out there that wants to pitch to, you know, different music libraries, here's another list. pumpaudio.com, beatpick.com, taxi.com, musicdealers.com, rumblefish. Those are all really good websites to get your music on song libraries and get out there. Some of them are free. Some of them you have to pay submission fees. Now, I mean, with Taxi, I don't personally use Taxi just because of the fees that are included with it, but I've heard a lot of success stories. I've heard a lot of people that use Taxi to network. You can network through there, get in touch with producers, different folks in the publishing industry, different writers even to do co-writes with. You know, if you get in the door with the right co-writer, you can get a song on something really quickly that you couldn't have got otherwise.
In fact, your good friend Jim West and I did a song that through Taxi, we got it on, I think it was a Playtex Sports commercial, and it ran for quite a while, and then they reverted all rights back to us after a certain period of time, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
And we've also got it in The Young and the Restless and a couple of MTV shows too. So
yeah, and that's
that was
great.
Through Taxi.
And the cool thing about that too is, you know, and sometimes they do let you negotiate the duration of the period of time that you don't have the rights, or they might want your publishing side, but you keep all your writer's side, things like that. I mean, those are things to think about when you're looking over those contracts and things that are coming into you guys.
Yeah. And by the way, there's additional sites that you can pitch to. If you take a look on our website, go over to the right under resources. There's pitching spots to pitch to film and TV. There's actually a wealth of other information on here, but we got probably a dozen or 15 different sites that you can pitch directly to film and TV on.
Yeah, I didn't see Pump Audio on there.
On there.
I got one for you.
There you go. Good. Okay,
have to update that.
Missed that one, huh? Okay, terrific. Well, next time, next week is Thanksgiving, so the week after that we'll probably do a Christmas show. So you dodged a bullet not having to wear the Santa hat.
Thankfully, I would have been a horrible Santa.
Well, you've got really nice hair too.
I might have been a good elf maybe at one point, but maybe you could have been Santa.
That hurts. He knows I need to lose 20 pounds. That hurts.
I was just saying you have a better beard than me.
No, I had a good beard for Halloween, and then I shaved it off, and a bunch of women said, you looked a lot better with the beard. So,
Really?
So I'm growing it back again. So.
How did Robin feel about that?
Robin's the one who said, you should keep the beard.
See, she knows best.
So, yeah, and my dog likes it too. She bites it and pulls on it. Okay.
Well, thanks for having me, Gary.
Thanks for coming, Aaron. And thanks to everyone out there for tuning in, and we'll see you next show.
Thanks.
Take care. Good luck. Keep riding. Good luck on getting those guts. Good night.